Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Today is May the 22nd, 2022. Welcome to Stories of the Soul radio show. I am your host, Yolanda Thomas, also known as YT. I just wanted to get on here for a little while and give you guys a couple of nuggets. I'm not going to hold you long. I do have some guests that's going to be coming up that I'm truly excited about. And one of them is Mr. DB Bedford, the emotional intelligence guy. We're actually working on the schedule as we speak. And I have some other people that's going to be coming in. So be sure to stay tuned today. You know, there's been a lot going on, you know, and today I want to talk about how to handle when disrespected is rarely or sometimes not acknowledged. Even in our police systems, they're not counselors, right? They're there to more so help keep us safe, So, what I would hope for in the future is when they're sent out to crisis situations, of course, keeping them safe, we can have like some ambassadors or counselors to de escalate the situation before it kind of festers. That's number one. Number two, I live in Oakland. I'm there a lot, native of San Francisco, California. And what I'm finding is a lot of things or killings that's been going on is due to them feeling disrespected. I'm a big advocate for being in the community. I'm a big advocate for rolling up my sleeves and getting my hands dirty. See, some of us can post, giving our opinion and talk about things, but to me, unless you're doing something about the problem, shut up. What are you talking about it for if you're not willing to get your hands dirty and do something about it? So, we're going to talk about some tools we can use on how to handle disrespect. And what is really disrespect to you? We all grew up in different lifestyles. One thing that may be disrespectful to you may not be disrespectful to someone else. But I will say universally, if somebody spit on you, that's disrespectful. I don't care who it is. That's just totally disrespectful. And, if you have someone do that to you, does that warrant you to put your hands on them? Does it warrant you to even kill them, even because you have felt disrespected? What do you do? How have you handled when you're disrespected? So I'm going to provide and give you some tools that I think that I know works. I have been disrespected in my life. And the number one thing that I've always done, believe it or not, is I think about the long term consequences and how it will affect others. And what I mean by that is that, I have children. They're adults now, but, early on when they were younger, I'm different now. I'm more at peace with things and I look at things differently. But even back then, if you would say or do certain things, I'm popping off, right? Now, I'm not saying that that was always the correct and best thing to do because it could cause a situation where I end up catching a case or somebody else end up catching a case. And case in point, when I was in school, my mother and my father told me if somebody was to hit me, to not hit them back. Their analogy was to go tell the teacher. Now, growing up and this being instilled in me at such a young age, I always avoided getting into situations with people. I mean, I rarely got into it with people, but we're young, we're children, they're kids. And so people often thought, oh, she was scary. It wasn't that I was scary. I knew what I was going to get when I got home. That was clear. That's a whole nother topic and another discussion for another day. Whereas, some of my friends, their parents taught them, look, if somebody hits you, you hit them back. Well, guess what? When I had my own children, I taught my oldest, I taught my middle, and I taught my youngest. And I tell my grandchildren, if somebody hit you, you not fire for them. I sure do. It's not, I'm being honest, and it just depends on your level of disrespect, right? I know some men who have told me that their significant other or their wife have hit them and they say, oh, it didn't hurt me. I didn't hit them back. Whereas some men don't play that. They feel like if you hit me, whether you're a woman or not, I'm going to hit you back. So, what is your level of disrespect and what will warrant you to react? And in what way do you react? Do you react back with violence? Do you react back with words? Or, do you just realize that sometimes people are just angry? Sometimes people are bitter. Sometimes people don't know how to handle things. Sometimes it's stress. Sometimes it's mental illness. And sometimes it could be medication. It can be a dysfunction. So, what is your level of allowing or your disrespect? So, how to handle disrespect? One of the things that we can do is just realize that rudeness, angerness, bitterness is nothing new. It's nothing new under the sun. This has been going on from the beginning of time. And I'm not saying allow nobody to disrespect you. All I'm saying is that don't let the rude behavior fester or escalate. That's what I mean. Allowing the behavior to escalate will not only cause you to be upset, right? It could go from 0 to 100. I've seen it. It happens all the time. It's so much killing going on right now until, like I said, when you ask some people, it's been told, well, oh, he disrespected me, or I felt he was going to disrespect me. Just think about it. You kill somebody. Okay, that person gone. You put that family in pain. You in jail, right? You leaving your loved ones to mourn you and having to take care of you, and the cycle just keeps replicating. Then you got to worry about their family trying to retaliate. When is it ever going to stop? Is it possible to have peace among ourselves, or is it that you disrespect me? It has to be dealt with in this way. Okay. So number three is one of my favorites. So the first one was realize rudeness is nothing new. Number two, don't let the behavior fester. And number three, avoid rude people. Now, some of you, this just came on my mind. Some of you may say, well, I live with a rude person, so you can't leave. Your children may be rude. You may have a rude sibling. You may have a rude husband or spouse. So, how to avoid that situation? To me, I just don't. I acknowledge it, but then I don't deal with it. If you're going to be disrespectful, I'm not going to be in the midst of that. It's been several times where I left and I detached myself. And at that time, I didn't realize I was using emotional intelligence, but that's exactly what I was doing. I don't like confrontation, I don't like drama. So, and another thing that I also want to say is think about how your behavior will affect others. So before you respond, just think about that. Think about that. I know that we come from an era of you don't want to feel weak or you don't want to feel like a poodle. For those of you who don't know what that means being a punk or, just bowing down. It's not even about that. As you become wiser, right? Not even older, because there's a lot of young people I know that are wise. As you become wise, you realize certain things is just not even worth your time. They're not even worth or even on your level. Recently I was faced with a situation where somebody actually lied on me and assassinated my character. Now I could have handled this a couple of ways, but for me, I don't have to deal with it. God knows the truth. I know the truth. I'm not losing no sleep. If they losing sleep, then that's their issue. But of course, I want to address it. Oh boy, do I want to address it. But I know that it will escalate, and it whatever. It is what it is. You're just gonna. I have learned that in life, sometimes you're just gonna have things that happen. Things happen, but it's how you deal with it. To me, is how you can overcome and be successful in your life. So, what does the Bible say about disrespect? Let's see if there's anything. So, in First Corinthians 15:33, it says, "Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Bad company corrupts good character. Ask yourself that question. Whenever you have found yourself in a situation where you're doing something you normally don't do, or you picked up a bad habit, it didn't just come out the sky, more than likely because you surrounded yourself around somebody. Case in point, I was in a situation where I was dealing with someone that had a drug addiction. And of course, in the beginning, I'm like, what is going on here? Why would you do that? Blah, blah, blah. But as time went on, if I can just be as transparent, as honest as possible, because that's all I know how to be, I wanted to try that. I want to, well, I want to be on the in crowd. I wanted to see what it was like. I wanted to more or less be in this community, or be accepted. Now, some of you be saying, no, I would never do that. I know people who had never drunk before, and something traumatic happened, and they drink. For whatever reason. It could be to just take off the edge, or it just could be something that they like to do. But being around bad company, it corrupts good character. So let's just be mindful of the people that we be around. And again, we may have some people that are in our lives, like I said, how many of you have children that just do bad things and you be trying to figure out why? You probably will never be able to figure out why. But what you can do is continue to instill in them good character. There was a time and place where my own daughter, she was in a bad place in her life. And instead of condemning her, I just continued to reinforce good character in her. I continued to pray for her. And eventually I did detach myself from that situation. I had to show her some tough love. And it worked. Praise God. I still have her here with me. You know, um, the creator protects her all the time. And she knows, me and her talk about it all the time. She knows what it is. And so I just want us to just be mindful before we react or respond to certain situations. Just think about the consequences. Is this person, does he have mental illness? Is this person high? Does being high excuse people from their behavior? Absolutely not. But you know what you're dealing with. If you know this person is drunk, if you know this person is on drugs, you know how to handle it accordingly. Case in point, my family dealing with something like that right now. This girl is, I don't know what she's on, but obviously she's been slipped something, she on something. And she's coming around rambling and doing different things. Now, of course, I'm not going to let anybody harm me or my family or be disrespected in any kind of way. However, my thing is, if this person is having a mental breakdown, they're having a mental issue, is different. Someone showed me a video one time, and they knocked out somebody that was, being disrespectful to them. They were, talking stuff, using profanity. But this person was drunk. I mean, he was out of his mind. And so for me, I think he thought that impressed me by by showing me that video, but he showed a lot of people the video. And I'm just like, now you see this person is drunk. So instead of us reacting in that way, what are some things that we could have done? As long as that person is not putting their hands on you, what does words mean? Now, let me just say this. When I was coming up, I do know that there was a saying, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt. Now, that's not true. I don't know who came up with that. I don't know who came up with that, because words do hurt. Words do hurt. But if you see a person is not, emotionally there, I would rather wait until they are sober, you know, if that's possible. Sometimes people are gone. What that means. That kind of just means that they've gotten high for so long. It's kind of like no coming back. You know, you can call for help. Seriously, there's things that you can do, or not even be in that situation. And they were kind of I forgot exactly where they were, but obviously you guys could have just walked away from him, unless he just following you and irritating you. You didn't have to knock the man out. You could have probably just pushed him down or something. But anyway, that's just my take on it. All right. So what are some other things that we can do? So Number one, how to handle disrespect is to just realize that this is rudeness. People are dealing with trauma, they're having issues, whatever. Okay. Number two, don't let that rude behavior fester. Detach yourself, if at all possible, from that situation. It's okay to say what you say, make your statement, and keep it pushing. Number three, avoid rude people. Avoid from being around those type of people. You I have people in my life now, I treat them with a long handed spoon. We cool, we cordial, but I know how to deal with them accordingly based on their actions and their behavior. Especially if it's somebody that you love, you let them know, you know what, I don't like this behavior. And if they're not willing to make adjustments and change, avoid them. You know how to deal with it. Number four, think how your behavior will affect others. What will happen if you go and kill this person? What will happen if you engage in that behavior with them? And number five probably would be something that a lot of us may struggle with. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have a problem with apologizing when I'm wrong. I'm gonna be honest. But you know, number five, apologize if you do find yourself to have been rude yourself. Sometimes we have to look in the mirror. We don't want to do that. We always want to see what the other person did and what the other person said. But do we often think about how we contributed or how we played a role in that behavior? Oftentimes I have found myself in a situation where, somebody will say some things to me that's rude, hurt my feelings, or disrespectful. And I will just, like, whatever. That's just them being them. But the minute, the second I give it back to them, oh, it's the end of the world. It's me. It's my fault. No, you created this situation, so you deal with it. And I know people. Some people, you can say something to them, is going down. Other people, they just kind of whatever, just kind of blow it off. Me, depending on the situation and the circumstances, how I'll handle it. But every day I work at being a better me. Seriously, every day I'm working on reading something on self improvement, on how to grow, and it helps me to be able to handle situations. I surround myself by like minded people. I surround myself with people that I feel will handle things wisely in most cases. No one is perfect. We probably won't ever all handle every situation in a perfect way. But for me, I'm able to quickly recover. I will say that's one of the attributes that I love about me. I love how I have the ability to quickly recover. When I make a mistake, when I drop the ball, I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe I could have handled this in a different way. And if I find myself have been rude or caused a situation, I will definitely apologize. That's just because of who I am, and I believe that's just the right thing to do. If you know you're in the wrong, and I know it's hard to apologize, but I feel like it's not so much for them, but it's for you. Just think about you. If you were in that situation, if somebody did you wrong, and you know that they're wrong, and then they don't want to apologize, well, if you guys are butting head, then just come back and revisit it later. That's just something that I would say. So another scripture that I think is a really good one is actually Proverbs 13:20. I'm gonna give you a moment to find it. You can pull it up on your phone. So Proverbs 13:20 says, "He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed." Who do you let in your life? Who do you befriend? For me, I have a lot of acquaintances. I don't consider everybody my friend, but I have a lot of people that are my acquaintances. Acquaintances. I can't speak today. And for me, I work on being around people that have done it before me. I work on being around people who are successful in their field. And I work around being around people that are just wise. Wise people. I know a few people. And it's funny because what I'm about to say, for those of you who know. If you don't, you'll find out in due season. But I deal with someone, and I call him Big Daddy, and he's very, very wise. And I remember I used to be in awe because, like years ago, when I first discovered, like he would say certain things, and I would be like, oh, he just talking. And it seemed like 98.9% of the time of the things that he would say, it would come to pass. Seriously. And I just would be like, wow. And it just happened one or two times. I'm talking about on a consistent basis. And at first I didn't kind of know what that was. And then as I have just evolved and reading a lot of books, he's just wise. He's a keen person. Now, is he perfect? Of course not. Nobody is. Do he know everything? Of course not. But I'm just speaking in terms of, just with my dealings with him over the years, how he's wise in a lot of areas before his years, if you ask me. But it is not just him, it's other people. It's other people that I know that are wise, and I tend to be around those type of people. I have a good friend, same thing. She's not perfect, and as we speak, I'm so humble and grateful that recently, she revealed to me that she's working on growing, and I definitely see a change in her. And I believe in, if you take one step, God will take another. You keep taking another step, He'll take another. And just because you may fail at something or make a mistake or revert to a certain behavior, that's okay. Just keep getting back up. Just keep doing it again. Because what the most powerful thing is just being aware that you know what, I can work on this area. I can grow in this area. For me, what I do, areas that I'm weak in, that's what I work on. Areas that I'm strong in, I enhance myself in that area. But the areas where I'm weak in, I work on it on a consistent basis because I have to. You know, just think about everything that we deal with. Some of us work, I have someone who revealed to me that they was at work and a person, they was trying to be nice. They was being nice. They ain't trying, they was being nice. And this person disrespected them. So they was just still like, look, I'm just doing my job. And this person kept disrespecting them. So guess what? They got back what they got. So sometimes you're in a situation where you may not be able to avoid a situation. You're at work, so you can't just like leave your job, but you can say, I'm not going to serve you. I'm not going to help you. And that actually helps me because I volunteer at bingo, and I had somebody that was very rude to me, and I said, you know what, this is how we're gonna handle this situation. Somebody else can help you. And I went on about my business. I didn't let it affect me. I didn't let it stop what I had going on. And I'm not saying that it's going to be just that easy in every situation, but you definitely can work at it. You definitely can work at it. All right. So I've given you like maybe 4 or 5 nuggets. So something else that we can do. Um, Number 6 is we can just believe in decency. We just can believe that, you know what, we just gonna let this one slide. Now I know that what you're thinking, because I thought it. If you let one thing slide, then they're gonna keep on thinking they can do it. So if you, number one, are avoiding the situation and not being around these type of people's behaviors, if you find yourself in that situation again, just believe in decency. Just believe, like, you know what, this person must, I feel like they must be dealing with some trauma, some issues. I'm going about my business. But now if it's to the point where I have to defend myself, oh, I'm absolutely going to do that. I'm not saying don't address it, I'm just saying don't let it fester, and there's a big difference. Okay. And then number 7, this is something we can do. We can simply just smile. Don't even say nothing, just smile. But I see it all the time. People just popping off at the mouth, being loud, and oh, I'll do this, blah blah blah. Just smile and look at them. What can they do? Word can words really, really affect you to the point where you feel like you have to take somebody out? Is there anything that somebody can say that will cause you to possibly catch a case or be in jail? For me, not worth it. It's not worth it. Okay, so I have something else that I wanted to read to you. Um, and it says, leave relationships with wicked or evil people, to be separate from them, to shun outcasts and purge them from our midst. How do we do that? Seriously, how do we? Because what if it's your supervisor? What if it's your supervisor who's evil, right? And I've been there. What if it's our spouses? What if it's our siblings? How do you handle when it's your immediate loved ones? And my thing is, again, bring it to their attention, but with love. You hollering and screaming at somebody, they're not going to get the message. They're not. Um, if you have tried that and it doesn't work, the only thing I can think of is just kind of treat them with a long-handed spoon, and then eventually, if you can get out of that toxic relationship situation, then you do that. But if you have children, try to see what the root of the problem is. A lot of times, I wrote a book called Anecdotes of the Soul, a memoir by Yolanda Thomas. And I've had different people reach out to me and tell me things happened in their childhood and they never disclose it to anybody. So could you imagine walking around knowing that you was molested by your mom's boyfriend or your mom's friend? Because it happened to men too, not just women. And you're holding on to that, or you was forced to do certain things. That will affect your emotional mindset in your state. So just try to be kind to people that's dealing with issues. Some people need medication. Honestly, some people have bipolar. Some people have ADHD and ADAD and just different things that they may not necessarily be able to control. But you can work at it. I'm not saying just be like, oh, okay, I got this condition. You work at it. Honestly, you just continue to work at it. And then I'm going to leave you with this. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. This is Psalms 1 and 1. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doeth he meditate day and night. What do you do every day? I want you to write down something you do from the time you open your eyes until the time you go to bed. I remember early on I said I didn't really know how to meditate, but let me tell you something. Before I even become conscious, I'm thanking God that he allowed me to live to see another day. I go into saying affirmations and commanding how I want my day to go. And then I am going about my day. When I'm ending my day, I thank God that I'm still here. I thank God that he allowed me to live full of abundance. I'm full of good health. I'm uh, full of good financing. I am financially free. Yes. Money comes to me in increasing amounts from multiple sources. Yes. These are the things that I recite in my mind, in my head. I meditate day and night on how to be a better me. Right now, I'm involved in so much that right now I'm kind of being a little selfish. I'm to myself because I'm learning and I'm growing. And in September, I'm going to be out there in the streets of Oakland. I am. I made a decision. I prayed on it. And I'm going to be in the streets of Oakland to try to help this community. Now, this may not be for you, but this is what YT is going to do. God allow me to live. I'm going to be in the streets of Oakland. And if I can reach just one person to save somebody's life, to save them from going to jail, to save them from having to bury a loved one, Yolanda's going to do it. I'll leave you with that. Meditating day and night. Thank you for tuning in to Believe Radio. Tune in 24/7. We have other radio shows that's going on. You can log on and look and see what we have coming up. Tune in to me every Sunday from 3:30 to 4:30. No longer do you have to wait for Sunday mornings to listen to music that will inspire, encourage, and uplift you. Thank you for tuning in. You can leave a chat. If you would like to get a hold of me, you can email me at what's my email? Believe Radio Yolanda at gmail.com. If you want to be a guest on my show, always utilize emotional intelligence. Never let nobody take you out your character. It's only one you. It's only one you. Enjoy your Sunday.